Good evening. Thank you so much for tuning in and welcome to News Tonight this Wednesday, the 25th of March, 2026. Let's start with a look at the headlines. Uganda's EALA by-election process faces scrutiny. Kampala faces rising flood risk amid delays in early warning systems. Minister Musasizi cites corruption at URA as a barrier to improved revenue collection. We thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Micheal Lukomwa. Elizabeth Nakakuni joins in for sign language interpretation. Uganda has launched the National Evaluation Capacities Index, a globally recognized tool aimed at strengthening evidence-based decision-making and improving service delivery across government institutions. The index, developed by the German Institute for Development Evaluation in partnership with the World Food Programme, is expected to enhance how public institutions assess performance, plan, and allocate resources. We have details in this report.
On behalf of all,
the Office of the Prime Minister of Uganda has officially rolled out the National Evaluation Capacities Index, an online diagnostic tool designed to assess and monitor the strength of Uganda's evaluation systems. The tool focuses on key areas including institutional frameworks, human resource capacity, policy linkages, and the use of evidence in decision-making.
The use of evaluations. We do not have an evaluation problem. We have a utilization problem. How are we using the results? We have the evaluation offer, skills, the people we are bringing on markets. Number 3, we talk about the quality of evaluations. How are our evaluations aligned?
Government officials say the initiative comes at a critical time when there is need to address fragmented planning and budgeting across institutions.
Poor implementation because of weak coordination, and the further substantiation, fragmented planning and budgeting. Then the devil in the house, diversion of funds.
So there is a comprehensive exercise of evaluating the planning function, and that includes the whole value chain, right from planning, budgeting.
Development partners have also pledged support towards strengthening evaluation systems to improve service delivery.
WFP and the other development partners that are in this room are here to support, not lead, support. It's Uganda's diagnostic.
While launching the initiative, Government Chief Whip Dens Hamson Obua, representing the Minister for General Duties at the Office of the Prime Minister, Kasule Lumumba, reaffirmed government's commitment to strengthen and reform agenda.
Under the National Resistance Movement government, we hold the view that a strong evaluative and review culture is a necessary condition and an enabler for effective and efficient service delivery. I wish to confirm that the Office of the Prime Minister is fully committed to the process and will ensure the necessary institutional support, inter-ministerial coordination, and follow-through on the findings that will emerge from this process.
The National Evaluation Capacities Index is expected to play a key role in aligning Uganda's development priorities with data-driven policies and improved accountability. Irene Faith Nantongo, UBC News.
Prime Minister Robin Anabanja has called on African countries to embrace digital technology and strengthen postal systems to boost regional integration and support small and medium enterprises. Nabanja said this during the 11th Ordinary Session of the Pan-African Postal Union Plenipotentiary Conference, which hosted 46 African member states.
Under the theme Leveraging Digital Technology and Innovation to Create a Smart Postal Sector in Africa, the 11th Ordinary Session of the Pan-African Postal Union Plenipotentiary Conference brought together delegates from 46 member countries to explore ways of strengthening postal systems and boosting regional integration.
our overarching objective must be clear: to translate ideas into impact and ensure that our deliberations yield tangible, transformative outcomes that improve the lives and livelihoods of our citizens we serve.
The Prime Minister, Robin Anabanja, highlighted on the critical role of postal services in enhancing interconnectivity, especially for small and medium enterprises operating across borders. She also emphasized on modernizing postal services through digital innovation to open up economic opportunities and improve service delivery across the continent.
For Africa, this transformation presents a historic opportunity. Our post networks reach communities where banks may not operate and where broadband may still be expanding. If strategically modernized postal services can support inclusive growth, empower small and medium enterprises, and connect rural producers to continental and global markets.
During the session, Uganda officially assumed the chairpersonship of the Pan-African Postal Union from Zimbabwe.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Very valuable.
The Minister of ICT and National Guidance, Dr. Chris Baryomonse, underscored the importance of postal services in national development and revealed plans to transform postal offices into government service centers to bring essential services closer to the people.
In the era of technology advancement, postal services have transitioned to leverage on technology so that they continue to provide services, but within the context of emerging technologies. We are going to transform our postal offices into government delivery units for the various services the government offers.
Sada Mubale, UBC News, Kampala.
Would like to thank you very much.
Questions are emerging over the legality of the ongoing by-election process to the East African Legislative Assembly, with some opinions suggesting that the process may have been triggered prematurely. This follows the election of 2 Ugandan representatives to the 12th Parliament, raising debate on when exactly their seats at the Regional Assembly become vacant. George Odongo, the chairperson of the Uganda chapter at EALA, has weighed in, pointing to what he describes as misinterpretation of the law.
The controversy centers on whether there is already a vacancy at the East African Legislative Assembly to justify the ongoing by-elections. According to George Odongo, the answer lies in the interpretation of both the EALA Elections Act and the East African Community Treaty.
The current process, in my view, should only envisage election to replace these members once their term expires in May, once they lose their seats in EALA, which is in May. So whatever is happening right now could be processes leading to the replacement of these members in May.
The 2 legislators in question were elected to Uganda's 12th Parliament, but that Parliament has not yet been constituted.
The 2 members are still members of EALA until such a time when the 12th Parliament is constituted and they are sworn in. At that point, they cease to be members of EALA, and that's the point when there is a vacancy and there should have been announcement of the processes to elect new members.
Odongo further clarifies that the concept of nomination in the law has been widely misunderstood in the Ugandan context.
It is different in the case of Uganda. So in the case of Uganda, the word election is the one that suffices. In the case of Kenya, it's dual, because there are those members who are elected and there are those members who are nominated.
A key concern behind the law, Odongo notes, is avoiding what is termed as a dual mandate. This means serving in both national and regional assemblies simultaneously.
Now, both Kakoza and Honorable Namara cannot claim that they are now members of Ugandan parliament. They don't have that mandate. So their mandate starts on the day when they are sworn in. And that's why in interpreting that particular provision of the law, you need to have context, you need to have the rationale behind that specific provision within the EALA Elections Act.
A legal question now at the heart of regional representation remains whether Uganda is electing too soon or simply preparing ahead of time. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Government of Uganda has dismissed media speculations alleging that it's in advanced negotiations with the self-exiled former presidential candidate Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, terming the media talks as non-existent. In an interview with UBC, State Minister for National Guidance Godfrey Kabyanga reiterates that Uganda still remains Kyagulanyi's home and free to return anytime he so wishes.
Mid-March 2025, the National Unity Platform President and former presidential candidate Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu announced his informal exit from the country in what many have termed as self-exile. Since then, Kyagulanyi has, through unverified media interviews, proclaimed himself as a politician who is on the run. However, the government of Uganda refers to these allegations as unfounded.
I don't think there is any fire burning. You can see how the country is very calm.
Kabyanga reiterates that the musician turned politician is free to return home, expecting no retaliation from the state.
But he's free to come back, but I don't know which is safe return. I think the word safe is what is disturbing me, because he himself said, I have gone, I'm going to come back. Okay. So does he? When you talk about safe return, I don't understand which safety.
As media claims that Uganda government has taken the path of negotiating for his safe return, the Minister State for National Guidance Godfrey Kabyanga lays off this talk.
I am not privy to those negotiations. However, NRM, and more especially President Museveni, is open to dialogue, because he has negotiated with criminals, bigger criminals who have even killed people.
Kabyanga has also applauded the move to withdraw security from Kyagulanyi's residence, but quick to defend that the earlier decision was backed by many factors.
The Honorable Kyagulanyi is a big man. He's a man who garnered 2 million votes. So you cannot write him off like that. No, me, I am not like that. He's a big man who needs security, because you don't know where the risk will come from. People might be expecting the risk to come from NRM, yet the risk might come even from NUP. So when security deploys around the Honorable Kyagulanyi's residence or not, they must have assessed the security threat.
With politics now in its evening, the government is now rallying peace-loving Ugandans to hang up the political boots and pick up development and prosperity.
But so long as he comes back and say, I am ready to work with the government which is in power, and working with them, I don't say you should join them, but you should stay here and mobilize your people. So what the Honorable Kyagulanyi, my friend, should come and do right now is to tell people, please, elections are over. Go and work.
Robert Onyango, UBC News.
Kampala City remains increasingly vulnerable to deadly flash floods, with experts warning that failure to adopt new early warning systems could leave thousands at risk. A regional team of scientists is now pushing for urgent implementation of a real-time flood forecasting system.
Urban flooding is becoming more frequent and more dangerous in Kampala, with heavy rains now overwhelming drainage systems.
The technical team have got the skills, and the next steps will be to involve Kampala City Council Authority stakeholder engagements so that they embrace, they get to know what is coming. And the process which has always taken place of co-production, co-development of the advisories will be undertaken. So that will be coming out very soon.
Experts say the danger is growing due to rapid urbanization, wetland encroachment, and the increasing intensity of rainfall linked to climate change.
The urban flash flood early warning system is going to be like more of a mobile application. First, it's going to be like a web browser. You go to the internet, you don't need a lot of data to access it. So it will have information about the rain going to come, and if it comes, it will also have the flood inundation, the extent how it's going to affect that place. So all that information will be in that application. You will see where the water will be logged and affect. Then you see the spaces where water will not affect you the flood.
To address this, scientists working with partners from the Netherlands are developing a system that uses satellite imagery to monitor rainfall and predict floods before they happen.
We only built together an operational early warning system, and then it's up to the national meteorology officers and the hydrology officers to make a decision whether they give a warning to the population. That is not something we as an implementing consultancy do, and that the reason is we don't have a mandate to give out a warning. We can only give a suggestion for when we think it is very likely that a flood will occur. What we are helping them with is developing thresholds, understanding what amount of rain can lead to a flood event, as well as helping them get more accurate forecasts of rainfall. And we do that together with them. So we create these systems together with the national agencies.
The system can detect rainfall patterns in real time and provide forecasts from as early as 6 hours to up to 12 hours ahead.
We're going to try as much as possible to disseminate this information using different channels. But there's a system that we're currently developing. It was developed some years back like with Micheal University. It's called Weather Information Dissemination System. So this system is able to ingest in the forecast information and alerts, and then we can disseminate to different people of interest. For example, if we happen to realize that we're likely to have some heavy flooding, maybe in the city center or in Shinawataka, likely to send some messages to people who are within that area or that locality.
Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
UBC News tonight. Your Vice President, retired Major Jessica Alupo, has lauded Ethiopia-Uganda 65-year diplomatic relations as those bilateral with mutual benefits, transcending politics, culture, economic, military and security cooperation. She was speaking during the 130th commemoration of Ethiopia's Adwa victory, which inspired Africa's anti-colonial resistances.
Ethiopian-Ugandan friendship.
The Battle of Adwa in Ethiopia, fought on March 1st, 1896, marked a significant moment in African history, especially in the context of independence and resistance to colonialism. It was a rare African victory over European colonizers at a time when most of Africa was being divided and colonized during a scramble for Africa. Ethiopia under Emperor Menelik II and Empress Taitu Betul defeated the Italian army, preserving Ethiopia's sovereignty during the scramble for Africa, making Ethiopia as the only African nation not colonized by European power. Uganda's Vice President Jessica Alupo has hailed the Battle of Adwa as a symbol of black strength and Pan-African freedom during its 130th commemoration.
The triumph of Adwa sent a clear and resounding message that freedom, self-determination, and national pride are inalienable rights of all nations. Your Excellencies, relations between Uganda and the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia date back to pre-independence. Today, we also reflect on this important milestone, the 65th anniversary of diplomatic relations between Ethiopia and Uganda. Over the decades, our two nations have nurtured a relationship grounded in mutual respect, solidarity, and shared aspirations for peace, stability, and prosperity. Our partnership has evolved through the years, expanding across political, economic, and cultural spheres. We have stood together in regional and continental forums, championing the principles of Pan-Africanism, cooperation, and collective progress.
Uganda Revenue Authority is on the spot for failing to broaden the tax base and raise the tax to GDP ratio despite various government interventions to broaden the economy. Apparently, the tax to GDP ratio stands at 13.4%, which at 13.14%, which has remained perennial over the last few years. Minister of State for Finance in charge of general duties, Musasizi, attributes part of the challenges to corruption and the increasing informal sector. URA officials had appeared before the Parliamentary Committee on Finance to present their ministerial policy statement for financial year 2026-2027.
Revenue collection target has been set at 41.513 trillion for Uganda Revenue Authority for the next financial year 2026-2027, up from the target of 37.227 trillion shillings for the current financial year. The tax authority has presented a budget of 877.396 billion in its ministerial policy statements to ensure that the revenue collection target is achieved.
As at December, we registered a performance of 93.69% and a revenue growth of 8% compared to financial year 2024-2025. Domestic tax revenue collections were Uganda shillings 10,926.18 billion against a target of Uganda shillings 11,721.73 billion.
The members of parliament sitting on the Parliamentary Committee on Finance queried some of the key planned activities in the budget of URA, including 12 billion for office rent and 23 billion for welfare and entertainment.
I had thought when we spend nearly 180 billion on construction of that tower in Nakawa, that the issue of rent was resolved. So we are squeezed in the tower, and that's why we are forced to again get out. And also the other factor why the sections and the departments we have got out of the tower are those which need to be closer.
The Minister of State for Finance in charge of general duties, Henry Musasizi, was questioned about the continuous stagnation of the tax to GDP ratio, maintained at 13 to 14%.
Actually, the President's view and his question to us is, why can't we raise this tax to GDP ratio to 25% like other countries do?
Musasizi attributes the challenges affecting the increase of revenue collection to corruption in the URA administration.
That is an issue which we have committed to improve on.
Minister Musasizi adds smuggling and the growing informal sector which create difficulties in revenue collection. The MPs continue to cite what looked like the neglected fundamentals affecting revenue collection, including poor road infrastructure and cargo delays at border posts.
We are complaining why revenue collection, domestic collection is low. But transporters, exporters, manufacturers spend 5 hours on the road, traffic jam, here on Ginger Road.
Our economy continues to be informal. Many people want to go under. They fear to be registered, because when they register, URA will do what someone mentioned.
URA has requested 8.9 billion to cater to tax education and awareness interventions across regions and sectors. The authority also needs 62.618 billion shillings for its tax systems upgrade, including Uranet, IFRIS, and digital tax solutions. Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gutabinji, UBC News.
The National Planning Authority seeks 148.3 billion shillings as per the ministerial policy statement for the financial year 2026-27. The Parliamentary Committee on Finance has tasked the government to fully support NPA to ensure it executes its mandate effectively. NPA decries challenges of delaying implementation of the ongoing amendment of the Fiscal Planning Act, limited staffing, among others. Committee members cite that the authority has been sidelined when it comes to exercising its mandate, including limited access to disaggregated data, among others.
So we are surprised that after 2 years, this matter of the physical planning is still pending and not where it ought to have been, and yet we agreed. So what are the challenges? Now we would like to hear from you. Why you proposed and now you're not executing when we accepted?
A platform. We need an integrated platform that can help us draw data from all these wealth creation schemes.
There's already a proposed bill before Cabinet, but then it was sent back for further consultation amongst the stakeholders. So we shall be updating you on this particular issue. It's not a challenge, it's just a delay in the process of...
Would be very proud too. But we are happy that, for example, we have the program approach. We are having 18 programs in our budgeting. But the problem is the committees of parliament are not according to programs. And the ministers are not according to if the day we decide that under the program budgeting, we are not just competing for resources between the departments, and we look at the programs as they are.
Lord Mayor Erias Lukwago has received the Leadership Award from a delegation of former footballers, including 1978 Africa Cup of Nations finalist Postal, alongside students from Caring Heart schools. Lukwago reaffirmed his commitment to the welfare of retired players while highlighting his long-standing efforts to preserve Nachivubo Stadium.
Delegation of former senior footballers, including 1978 AFCON finalist Postal, today proceeded to City Hall, where they were warmly received by Kampala Lord Mayor Erias Lukwago. The visit formed a key part of a broader commemorative initiative aimed at honoring leaders whose stewardship has been defined by resilience, dedicated service, and unwavering commitment to the public good. In his address, the Lord Mayor underscored his steadfast commitment to the welfare of retired sportsmen.
Okugamba nti wabeerewo enteekateeka ey'okulaba nti abantu baffe baliko emmunyenye mu kisaawe ky'omupiira bonna gye baali mu biseera ebyo be bayita ba legends babaako we beekumirakumira n'okutandikawo projects ez'enjawulo era ne bazannyo Pastor Musisi ne ttiimu yonna Paulo Sali Chuni bani bonna nga bombalabye baomba bani ttiimu yonna abo be mulaba abo babyafaayo nnyo mu Uganda.
He further noted that the preservation of historic landmarks such as Nachivubo Stadium remains an essential complement to efforts aimed at recognizing and safeguarding their legacy in the sporting arena. The veteran athletes highly praised the Lord Mayor's resilience and determination. They noted that his steadfastness in the face of adversity reflects more than 2 decades of distinguished leadership, a testament to his dedication to justice and to the advancement of the sporting fraternity.
Ekituleesa okusiima Lord Mayor one bwe nali ntandika ekibiina kye bayita Former Footballers Initiative. Lord Mayor yali musaale nnyo okunnyamba, yankwasizaako mujjukira nti twalaunchingira wali ku Caring Heart. Masomero ga Caring Heart wali ne kanisa ya Caring Heart Victory Community Church. wali n'ekisaawe we twalonkingira yavuga emmotoka n'ava eno e Kampala n'ajja mu Wakiso. So ate mukwano gwange personally nti nze ndaba Kampala ng'egenda okusubwa omuntu asobola okuyamba omuntu yenna.
We'll get that story later on. Now, Minister of Works and Transport Edward Katumba Wamala has urged engineers to prioritize quality over shortcuts that often lead to the collapse of structures in the course of their work. The minister also pledged to strengthen the regulatory framework to ensure adherence to established standards across the engineering profession. He made the remarks during the National Engineers Prayer Breakfast meeting organized by the Uganda Institution of Professional Engineers held in Kampala.
The National Engineers Prayers were led by the Archbishop of the Church of Uganda, His Grace Samuel Stephen Kazimba Mugalu, and were attended by a number of distinguished professionals in the engineering fraternity, as well as scholars and interns.
Rejoice and be glad in it, and be glad in it. Oh.
His Grace Samuel Stephen Kazimba Mugalu emphasized the immense potential of engineers in driving national development, particularly in contributing to wealth creation. He, however, urged them to anchor their workmanship in faith.
Engineers are wealth creators, because when we have good roads, it's one way actually of promoting development. When the roads are good, it's one way of transporting our things. Engineers, you make things work, transforming the heady knowledge, the things you got from school, transform them into what we can see.
The patron of the Uganda Institution of Professional Engineers, Engineer Dr. Francis Tusobida, urged engineers to have integrity in the execution of their duties.
For positioning engineering as the pillar of national development is a big ask on us. To achieve this, we need to focus on character, not function. Therefore, it is important to understand that as engineers, we follow a great tradition right from the earliest times of the Bible.
Meanwhile, the guest of honor, who is also the Minister of Works and Transport, Edward Katumba Wamala, cited the need for engineers to ensure the durability of structures and uphold public trust in their profession.
Even if we are talking about the tenfold growth, even if we are talking about PDM, production, increased production, how will the produced materials reach the market? If we don't make the roads, if we don't construct the roads, if we don't connect the villages to the last mile. For some of them, anybody who's holding a mwiko is an engineer. Any bricklayer or engineer. So this is something also which you have to, in a way of protecting the profession, we are going to insist that we should be able to insist that every structure must have a qualified engineer.
He urged engineers to prioritize quality over shortcuts, noting that such practices often lead to the collapse of buildings and other structures.
So the law which has now come, if you are now going to cause death because of negligence and harm to people, the penalties are so punitive that I think people will wake up. So the profession will be protected. But it's up to you again, as the owners of the profession, to ensure that when you get that responsibility, you actually live up to the task.
Are we building for our own names or for the nation's good? Are we faithful to the sound design and ethical conduct, even when no one is watching? You're the only engineer who is chanced or given that to make that decision. Pass it or not. Prove it or disapprove it.
Rebecca Nantongo, Ivan Joko, for UBC News.
This is to certify.
So, Micheal.
Yes, Daddy.
You know the children are going back to school and things are a bit tight. Huh? For now, why don't you take half of the fees to junior school, and for the school van contribution, we shall pay later. Huh?
Daddy,
Why don't we pay using MTN Momo, where we stand a chance of winning school fees for a whole year and more? By the way, you can also apply for a school fees loan, and also participating schools can win a school van.
That's right! Win school fees for a whole year and more. Get Momo goodies and a school van for participating schools. You can also apply for a school fees loan. Simply dial *165 *80# or use the Momo app.
It's back, bigger, and with more business opportunities. It's the Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo, Poate 2026, Uganda's flagship tourism event. Poate 2026 will take place from the 21st to the 23rd of May 2026 at the Speak Resort Convention Center, Munyonyo, under the theme Wanderlust. It's your time to thrive. Yes, it's your time to tap into Uganda's renewed optimism and tourism growth. Tourism stakeholders, travel trade partners, and tourism enthusiasts will be part of the Poate 2026. Come and network with like-minded people and unlock new business opportunities. To participate, register at www.poate.co.ug. Poate 2026 is brought to you by Uganda Tourism Board and partners.
Thank you so much for watching and welcome back from the break. The NRM Electoral Commission Chairman, Dr. Tango Doya, has announced the commencement of picking of interest forms by party members seeking to fill the 2 East African Legislative Assembly slots. While addressing the media on Monday, Tango Doya announced that the exercise commenced Monday 23rd up to the closure on Wednesday 25th, which is today.
Community. I've seen there has been a gap. President Museveni has been preaching about integration, but few leaders in the region have worked like the way how he has worked. So I've seen there is a gap, and I said, no, let me come and see how I can close this gap, because our president has done enough, but he needs leaders who can help him also spread the gospel of integration.
All my voters, please to rally behind me. You are voting the real representation of action.
I need to use my communication skills to communicate the potential benefits, what Ugandans stand to benefit from the East African community.
Gratitude say 37 have been nominated today, including members of the current 11th Parliament who chose to resign to fit within the demands of the law. Everything has been transparent. We have closed nomination today, and we are now going to push the list to the Secretary General for onward transmission to the Central Executive Committee for vetting, and then the caucus of the 11th Parliament for election. We don't know whether they will fit within this week, but we have done our part as the Electoral Commission of the party.
What about MK?
Presidential candidate Bulira Frank Kabinga has unveiled a strategic roadmap aimed at advancing Uganda into a federal democratic republic through inclusive national dialogue and nationwide consultations.
The meeting brought together top UFDO leadership, led by their president and former presidential candidate, Bulira Frank Kabinga, who also launched the distribution of over 50 million copies of calendars across the country.
Calendars, and we have printed 50 million calendars in Luganda and English. And those calendars have the 16 federal states making up Uganda. They are going to be circulated in the whole country, and every household will have a calendar of UFDO and our agenda. The calendars are going to be in every shop, in every saloon, every market, every mall, every household. They are all going to get these calendars.
Kabinga emphasized that UFDO has already reached out to various opposition political parties and players to participate in an all-inclusive national dialogue aimed at shaping Uganda's future governance.
Focusing on reuniting the opposition, we have written to all opposition parties, All sister parties have been called on to come on board. We've written to all diplomatic agencies. We have resurrected the call for a peaceful change in Uganda and a peaceful transition.
He further revealed plans to conduct regional federal conferences across all the proposed 16 federal states, ensuring grassroots participation in the decision-making process.
We are looking at federal system of governments whereby powers will go back to the people in the areas where they are, where jobs will find people where they are. The people of Karamoja, they will be the people dealing in the gold in the gold mines. There will be people working in the gold refineries. In fact, we would be having a gold souk. In simple terms, that's what federal means. Jobs come closer to where people stay. Instead of coming to Kampala, people would be coming to Kampala just to tour, to see how Kampala looks, but getting the services, the jobs and everything from their respective sub-regions.
Kabinga added that the strategy will also involve diplomatic outreach, engagement with civil society organizations, and intensified civic education to sensitize Ugandans on federalism. 16
conferences in the 16 federal states or regions of making up Uganda. And in these conferences, we are going to invite stakeholders, cultural leaders, religious, key stakeholders, and opinion leaders in the different respective sub-regions who have a stake in this country, in reshaping this country. These 16 conferences, we are going to formulate a charter, a federal charter, and agree on the model federal we want to have and how we want the next Uganda to be governed. As UFDO, we are looking at rebuilding and re-energizing the opposition, just as we had the opposition at the times of Dr. Paul Kawanga Semogerere.
Ambantu Machabe Semambo and Jamil Sekaja for UBC.
The Directorate of Traffic and Road Safety in Police has partnered with Intelligent Transport Monitoring System to sensitize schools and school-going children on proper road use to minimize accidents.
Okay. Traffic police data indicates that at least 2 school-going children die on Ugandan roads every day due to poor road use by different stakeholders.
Stop, I look, listen, and I'm a road safety champion.
So really we hope that what we are doing, we are hitting 2 birds with 1 stone. Everyone is being taught, and these children also become our ambassadors, that when they go back home, they are also able to talk to their parents about road safety.
The Directorate has embarked on working with development partners to sensitize pupils and other road users on responsible road use. The engagement in Kampala Central was conducted at Kamwacha KCCA Primary School.
We are doing this, let everyone get out to sleep and know that it's everyone's responsibility, that it is a collective responsibility, that is a shared responsibility to see safer roads in our country.
This partnership between Traffic Police, KCCA and Intelligent Transport Monitoring Systems is intended to teach pupils proper ways of using the road. Parents are called upon to support the initiative.
Parents, we believe we are creating a society with a society of young school-going children that are very much aware of their safety on the road. We teach them on how to cross zebra crossings and show them how to cross the roads and on which side of the road to walk.
The collaboration among transport stakeholders aims at reducing road crashes and minimizing pedestrian deaths on Ugandan roads. Parents are urged to always guide students on road usage and take necessary precautions. Abdul Nasser Lobwama and Regan Ahumza for UBC.
Following operations to evict vendors on roadsides in Kampala and metropolitan areas, those who were removed have now converged on markets near Kampala, causing several challenges that are affecting areas where they have camped. The Nansana roadside farmers market has seen many vendors evicted from Kampala, now occupying road space, leading to commotion and disturbances in the area.
Over 5,000 vendors at the Nansana roadside farmers market in Wakiso districts are crying foul after vendors evicted by KCCA from city roads converged on this market, causing commotion and disturbance. Leaders and vendors at the Nansana roadside farmers market revealed that President Yoweri Museveni during campaign periods pledged to construct this market. Due to delays in fulfilling this presidential pledge, vendors from Kampala have taken advantage of the situation and moved into Nansana market, increasing insecurity, congestion and traffic jam among other challenges in the area.
About 200 people, 500, between 200 and 500 people in this place. The place is so congested. We are so very many here, so we need to be removed from this place and we go to a bigger place.
Crime, diseases, accidents, we are very many in here, so that it's not even a movable market anymore. We stop here, people stand in the way so that others can buy, but it's too risky for them.
They appeal to the president to support them, noting that they have already acquired land for relocation and are now waiting for assistance to purchase and develop it so they can vacate the roadside.
President, you promised us to buy for us the land. We have already secured the land. We only need the pledge you made to us that you're going to buy for us that land. We are bad enough, we are squeezed. So, Mr. President, please, we are requesting for you to buy for us that land.
Mr. President, we humbly remind you for a pledge you made to build for these vendors a modern facility that will accommodate the challenges of the incoming and those incumbent that have been.
Luweero Triangle's transition from post-conflict recovery to sustainable economic transformation took center stage during Front Bench, a flagship weekly current affairs program on Uganda Broadcasting Corporation TV. The episode focused on the Luweero-Rwenzori region, examining key development and political issues shaped by affirmative action programs implemented since 1992.
And Rwenzori is mandated to coordinate and monitor implementation of government policies.
The Ministry of Luweero-Rwenzori Affairs, operating under the Office of the Prime Minister, has for over 3 decades coordinated targeted interventions in war-affected communities covering 43 districts across central, western and eastern Uganda.
It was formed in 1992. That was actually after a lot has recovery and a lot had been done already by government from 1986.
Once a former war zone, the region has steadily transformed into an emerging agricultural and industrial hub, partly due to sustained affirmative action and its proximity to Kampala. Its coverage now extends to Busoga, Mbale and Bukedi sub-regions.
It has become an industrial and agricultural hub for central region. So the journey has 36 years is a long time for affirmative action.
Established in 1992, the ministry is mandated to identify gaps in government service delivery, focusing on civilian veterans and their families affected by the Luweero Bush War led by President Yoweri Museveni.
A lot has been done for the good of the public. For example, if you go to schools and you look at how many classrooms have been added to what was there in 86. So many new classrooms, tens of thousands of of new classrooms have been added.
The
but
discussion hosted by Jethro Kasaiji brought together Minister of State for Luweero Triangle Alice Kaboyo, Chairperson of the Veterans Verification Committee Brigadier Jacob Asimwe, and Assistant Commissioner Norbert Katsirabo. Panelists highlighted progress in infrastructure, education and healthcare, alongside ongoing verification of veterans for ex-gratia support, agriculture, tourism and trade, continue to drive growth in Rwenzori sub-region.
When we were paying the NRA veterans, we were paying the FRONASA, FEDEMO and UFM. Now, as we were moving on, then came the Rakwena victims. They were also brought on board in Usoga, mainly Usoga, in the, were they 8 districts? The old Kamuri, Iganga, they are now also, they came on board. And just at the end of last year, we are adding Luweero-Rwenzori.
However, voices of distraught veterans, particularly from Greater Luweero, continue to emerge, sometimes at a political cost. Despite these gains, challenges persist, including youth unemployment, climate change, and limited market access.
We also try to support what we call household income enhancement of these, especially our vulnerable members of the communities who are, let's say, the veterans. And in this particular case, through our interactions with them, if we find some family that has not yet already gotten, let's say, PDM or couldn't qualify for PDM, or it is not doing well in one way or another, we profile them, support them, help them to organize themselves.
The weekly program continues to provide a key accountability platform for ministers, departments and agencies to engage the public and report on service delivery.
You find that at times people who complain, when you ask him where he is in Luweero, you find he is not from that very place.
Panelists noted that more than half of the ministry's affirmative action programs have been implemented throughout the government structures, with at least 80,000 veterans from over 60 districts having received ex gratia support.
Here, this ministry was formed in
Mama, only know what you are.
Banangi.
Tata omwana ogenda mugambako oba wali wano.
Sente zembadde ngenda okusasula ku school fees z'omukulu zigenda kunyambako okuweerera batoobe abalala ababiri. MTN mama ngenkoledde kinene ng'asinga omumaamu sirigyerabira obulamu bwange bwonna.
Ngenda kusibira kusasula school fees nyiga star 165 star 80 ashi sasula school fees ngokozesa momo school funds masome tugenda zigaba osobola okwewola waliwo school fees loan genda ofune loan oba otolinawo sente ozisasule mu bbanga mpola mpola obulamu otambulenga buli koona.
Watching. And in business, the Executive Director of the National Social Security Fund, Patrick Ayota, has cautioned employers in northern Uganda against non-compliance, warning that tough measures including public naming will soon be taken against defaulters.
We have you as a member. We need to bring the people who are not part of the formal sector.
Speaking during the NSSF regional employer meeting in Lira City, Ayota emphasized the need for employers to remit workers' contributions in full, noting that failure to comply undermines workers' financial security.
And also remind those who are not complying that, no, we are coming up with a list of shame that will publish to indicate that you as an employer, you're cheating your employees and you don't want to do that. And we don't want any employer to be on that list. At least our members have had a chance to talk to us, we had a chance to talk to them, and we think that the fund then grows much better.
He revealed that the fund has grown to 26 trillion with an ambitious target of reaching 50 trillion by 2035. Ayota says the fund also aims to expand its membership from 3 million to 15 million Ugandans with a strong focus on bringing in workers from the informal sector, especially those in agriculture. He notes that new strategies, including targeted agricultural programs, are being rolled out to close existing gaps and extend social security to farmers.
Because now, the day we launch it, a farmer can know that if we tell you to grow soybean, you know there is a buyer, you even know what the minimum price is going to be. So we bring certainty in agriculture, which will make farmers plan better, and in such a way productivity will go high.
NSSF says it understands the challenges businesses face, but insists compliance is critical for safeguarding workers' savings. Beneficiaries have also been advised to plan carefully before investing their benefits.
A government teacher who is exempted in a government school, the service that is rendering in the private school is earning them money. They must contribute NSSF on that money. that they are earning in their part-time job.
During the meeting, 15 compliant entities from northern Uganda were recognized, with the NSSF saying their words are meant to encourage others to fulfill their obligations. Ediulwa, UBC News.
We now go to our segment, Buza Commissioner, where the Commissioner General of Uganda Revenue Authority answers questions brought in by taxpayers.
To Buza Commissioner program tonight. Our first question is on payment of customs taxes in installments. What are the specific requirements and eligibility criteria from traders who wish to pay customs taxes in installments? Our dear viewer, first of all, thank you for asking this very important question. Number two, Uganda Revenue Authority has the facility to enable taxpayers who are, first of all, compliant. They have a history of faithfully paying their taxes, but also who, for one reason or another, are facing a challenge with raising all the taxes up front. Customs taxes are normally paid in full when you're importing goods. But should there be a situation where the taxpayer is constrained and he or she does not have all the money to pay before their goods are cleared, yes, we have an arrangement where we can facilitate you to pay the taxes in installments. So what are the requirements? And this was your question. Requirement number one is that you should have a good track record as a compliant taxpayer. Requirement number two is that then you make an application in writing to the Commissioner Customs asking to pay your taxes in installment. Requirement number three is that you enter a memorandum of understanding that you will pay the balance of the taxes in these many installments and at this agreed time. But this memorandum of understanding must also be backed up with some security of payment. So these days we take a bank standing order. You instruct your bank that on every date of this month, on this date of this month, please transmit this money to Uganda Revenue Authority. Previously, we also used to take bank checks, post-dated bank checks, but sometimes checks would expire and they would not be honored. So we prefer a bank guarantee. Now, with the application and the MOU and the standing order, we will give you your goods and you will pay the taxes in installments. But please have a good record, because if you are a taxpayer who has not been paying your taxes faithfully, that may stand in your way.
Buza Commissioner. Now you can get direct answers. Send your tax-related questions via WhatsApp or SMS to 0790-141-887, and the Commissioner General of URA, John Musinguzi, will personally address them.
Uganda, get ready for an unforgettable experience. Join thousands of runners and culture lovers at the Mbarara City Marathon 2026, happening Saturday, the 28th of March 2026, starting at 6 a.m. at Mogaba Palace, Kamukuzi in Mbarara City. This year's theme proudly celebrates the biggest culture and heritage of the long-horned cattle in the land of honey and milk, a symbol of identity, pride, and tradition in Uganda. Come and run through the cultural heartland, where heritage meets tourism and sport. Choose your race: 42 kilometers, 21 kilometers, 10 kilometers, or 5 kilometers. The guest of honor will be the Minister for Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities, highlighting Uganda's rich culture and tourism. Register today and get your marathon kit at www.mbararacitymarathon.com or dial *272 *11#. Proudly sponsored by Tusker Light, Grace and Family Concepts, Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities Uganda, Nyakayojo Sacco, Explore Uganda, Textile and Prom Home, Uganda Broadcasting Corporation, Emburara Farm Lodge, Country Cinema, arch mottos, and many more. For more information, call 0785 408 422. Mbarara City Marathon 2026, running to celebrate the culture and heritage of the longhorned cattle in the land of honey and milk.
Osprey's Swim Club in Busabala is preparing adequately for the Starlings swim meet this weekend. The gala gives an opportunity to swimmers below the age of 12 to showcase their swimming skills in all the 4 strokes.
At the Starlings Gala, I'm going to do my best personal times, and it's important because it helps us improve. It helps us increase our speed. It helps us know what it means to swim. And when you're going for galas, always move fast so that you can get medals and your team wins.
Junior galas are important for kids that are young to become faster swimmers and so that they compete against each other.
It helps us swim faster. Some of us are doing 1 lap. We should put our head in until we reach the wall.
In a move aimed at strengthening grassroots development across the country, MTN Uganda has unveiled 25 community projects to benefit from its 3rd phase of Change Makers initiative.
Receive up to 20 million shillings through the MTN Foundation to support initiatives in economic empowerment, health, education, environmental protection, and water and sanitation. The announcement was made in Micheal Town Council, Nakasongola District, during the handover of support to Adventist Women for Influence.
We are in Micheal Town Council specifically to recognize and to hand over sewing machines to the Micheal Women Center of Influence. They started the center here, they collected money themselves. As MTN, when we were assessing the projects, the applications, we found people who were already working, but who just needed a little extra support.
The group received sewing machines and fabric to boost vocational skills training for vulnerable women, including those transitioning from commercial sex work. MTN Uganda Foundation trustee Allen Kajina says the initiative is designed to amplify community-led solutions, adding that the company is supporting individuals and organizations already making a difference to extend their impact to more people.
We've been having challenges. We've been having only 10 sewing machines, but they have brought for us 24 Juki good machines, the machines that can make sweaters, machines that can make bags and shoes. So we want to impact the lives of this community in Micheal to ensure that we skill the young girls and make sure that they have an alternative means of income.
The Nakasongola Resident District Commissioner welcomed the program, noting it will create opportunities for women and youth while driving local development and supporting sustainable livelihoods. Project administrators say the support will enable them to reach more women and equip them with practical skills to earn a living and support their families. The 25 projects were selected from over 1,800 applications across the country. Since its inception, the Change Makers initiative has funded more than 50 projects, investing over 1 billion shillings and impacting more than 235,000 people.
We also have something from the golf world here. Let us have it.
to have more vibrant music.
First, I am grateful to God because He enabled me to get the hole-in-one. What are the odds? After 10 years plus of people trying to get a hole-in-one that wins a car, I get to win it many years later. I want to thank God. From the tee box, after the ball went in, we were walking towards the tee box with my 4 ball. And then the people on the other end were the ones who, there was a marshal on the hole. They are the ones who made noise. Oh, they're hole-in-one, the car has gone. Oh my God, it was a very beautiful feeling. We went running to the hole. Everybody, there are so many holes around that hole. Everyone who was on those holes came. It was a very cheerful moment, a joyful moment, a happy moment.
To confirm that we've officially handed over a Corolla Cross hybrid, brand new car, 0 mileage, to Bernadette Musanabera, who was the lucky winner on 14th Feb with a hole-in-one at hole number 12 in Entebbe during the qualifiers of the Stanbic Match Play golf tournament. We really appreciate our partners, AfriSafe, AfriSafe Insurance Brokers, who covered the vehicle. Entebbe Club organized a tournament, Stanbic, Diageo, and
And that brings us to the end of all we had for you tonight. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Micheal Jordan Lukomwa with Elizabeth Nakakuni and the whole team. Here we close it as newsroom because tonight we have Behind the Headlines with Timothy Nyangweso and the team. So for now, bye-bye from newsroom and good night.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
I think Mokudong ma ateka supplying Total Energy with the Mushumbwa under project Magilong MSL. Uloko family para, uloko community matia.
Before Total came into the picture, we used to get on average 1.8 to 2.5 a week. When Total came into the picture, we're now getting about 7.6 to 8 million per week. You see this grass we use for mulching. We buy a bundle at 1,000 shillings, and we need more than 2,000 bundles. All that money is sunk within the village. They're using it for paying school fees, they're meeting their medical bills. I employ a big number of people, about 50 to 80 per season.
We got projects from MSL in 2024. That is where we start supplying a Total or the MSL with Munyeba.
Erano kerna pe michol betu twali gangkwan gipoke waseme monene si anshi acholo kela tikwana uchakolo ko pa an mateka dida.
The journey with Total, it was so quite good because at least they were helping us give us a good market, whereby we supply at least weekly, like 3 times, twice a week. We expand this farm now to 20 acres, and at least I'll manage to open another project